Welcome back to New York in the 1870s. We are going to talk about and drink the reverse Manhattan. Now, the Manhattan itself is a cocktail we all know and love. 2 parts whiskey, 1 part vermouth, a couple dashes of bitters. Now, the origin story is contested. There are a couple out there. The story that was going around for a little bit that Winston Churchill's mom, Lady Churchill, was in New York and wanted to throw a fundraiser for a presidential candidate then, who was the governor, Samuel Tilden, in 1876 at the Manhattan Club. There's a signature cocktail at the event. It was crazy. People loved the drink, and after the event, people called it the Manhattan cocktail after the party. Now that probably wasn't true. Also, Samuel Tilden didn't win the presidential election. It was really controversial. He did win the popular vote, but didn't actually get the presidency. Something that I guess happens sometimes. But anyway, Winston Churchill's mom was actually never in New York during that time. She lived in France and was pregnant, so probably wasn't drinking Manhattans. So there is another story of a bartender who is only referred to as Black in the 1860s. Was a bartender of note off Broadway, and a bartender in demand around Manhattan, and was attributed with this drink, with coming up with it. The word Black, people are sort of mostly at a loss for why he was referred to just as Black, but some think that he worked in Manhattan after the Civil War and was actually an African American bartender who was super talented and came up with a couple drinks. So we like to think that he was the one who invented the original Manhattan. Now the reverse Manhattan, after the original went out and was popularized as the 19th century went on in the later part of the 1870s, 1880s, and 1890s, vermouth and using it in larger quantities in drinks that originally called for a smaller amount became more in fashion. People had more of a taste for vermouth. So something like an equal parts Manhattan and even a reverse Manhattan, where you flip the whiskey and the vermouth together, sort of like what Missy Elliott says, flip it and reverse it. So 2 parts vermouth to 1 part rye whiskey. Super lovely end of the evening cocktail, and super delicious. We love the Carpano Antica in here. Italian sweet vermouth, some nutty notes, some bitter orange, super decadent, and a nice alternative to a classic Manhattan. Cheers.